Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Circle of the Main podcast. It's a devious one. I'm MC, alongside my brother from another mother. That is Mr. MGC, Mr. Matthew Steamboat, the Carbonation Cabrón, the Painmaker. And also, we have a guest for today, our honorary guest, the hottest free agent in professional wrestling at this time. And also, he's the Green Reaper. He is the Puerto Rican poppy that will knock your ass out bodega style. And that is the man himself, Mr. Danny Limelight. How are you, man?
What's good, Circle of the Bay? How y'all doing, man? I really appreciate y'all bringing me on the podcast. I know it's early for you guys. I appreciate you guys adjusting the time and stuff like that. But yeah, this should be fun, man. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. I appreciate you, for joining us today, Gordon. So,
nothing is early for a vampire.
Oh yeah, this guy's been up all night, so he's like he doesn't sleep.
There isn't sleep. Sleep doesn't exist.
Oh, so, just to get to, the viewers and the audience to get to know you more personally. So how did it all begin for Mr. Danny Limelight to get into professional wrestling? How did it all start?
Well, I've always been a fan. Like growing up, I was born in the 90s, raised in the 90s. So like I got to, really come into liking wrestling like around the time where, DX was the thing and The Rock was the thing and Stone Cold was the thing, and obviously like when all those guys started like, Stone Cold retired, The Rock went into Hollywood and things like that. What kept me into wrestling was like Rey Mysterio, more specifically Eddie Guerrero. So I was like a fan around that time, late 90s to like the early 2000s. And then I stopped watching right around 2005, like right before I went to high school. And when I was in the Marine Corps, I got stationed in California. I had a kid. I hadn't watched wrestling in years. And I was going through Target, and my daughter at the time, she was 4 months. So we had her like in the little shopping cart. But my daughter was very like advanced with her her hand-eye coordination, all those motor skills or whatever. And so we like put the cart by some like DVD sections, and I was looking for like some DVDs or Blu-rays, I think it was, for like, I like Denzel, he's my favorite. So I was looking at some Denzel movies, and my daughter like knocked over some like the cheap bin kind of thing. And so like I started picking up the stuff that she knocked over, and one of the movies was like The Rock's top 10 greatest matches of all time. And I was a huge Rock fan. Like he was my favorite wrestler of all time. So like I picked it up. It was like $10 or something like that. I can't remember what it was. And so I bought it. I went home. I sat my daughter in like a little bopper, and I put it on. I started watching The Rock, and it was like, it had The Rock versus Mankind, The Rock versus Hogan, The Rock versus Austin, like all the cool matches. And my daughter was just sitting there watching it and things like that. And her mom walked into the room and saw us. She's like, "Why is my daughter watching wrestling?" And so, I told her that I used to watch it when I was a kid. She told me she had never really watched it. And so I looked online to see like when the next time WWE was coming to town, because I thought it would be like a cool date night kind of thing. At the time, my whole life, I never really knew about independent wrestling. I didn't know about New Japan. I didn't know about, AAA, none of that stuff. I just knew WWE and WCW. I think I knew a little bit about TNA. I didn't know Impact was a thing. Or that TNA had become Impact or whatever. And so they were turned out when I looked online that they were coming the next week, right? So the next week they were coming to town. And I was like, oh, this is like coincidence. They're going to be here next week. And so I bought the tickets for her and I. We got a babysitter. We went to go watch. And the main event was The Shield versus Orton and Kane. It was like when The Shield and the Authority was like feuding or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so, it was dope. We had a good time, and then we ran into somebody that I knew, and they told me that they didn't know I was a wrestling fan. And I was like, well, I used to be when I was little. I hadn't watched in years. And they told me they were training to be a professional wrestler. And so I laughed. I thought it was funny. It's like, how do you train to be a professional wrestler? Because I didn't know how to get into it. I didn't know that there was such things as wrestling schools and the indies or whatever. And so they sent me the address to the school. I'm not going to mention this place because I'm not affiliated with them no more. And they had like kicked me out of school and told me that I'd never wrestle again. So I don't give them any credit for anything because they didn't do anything for me in this business. But so I showed up to this place. I start training. My daughter's mom, she had actually paid for my first month of training because we were married at the time, and so like all the big bills I paid, and like all the fun money was her money kind of thing. So she gave me like the first month or two for wrestling school. I started training, and then that's where Danny Limelight was born. And when that place kicked me out, it was like I was like 9 months in the business, so I was still very, very green. And I got a call from David Marquez, the championship wrestler from Hollywood, and he told me he wanted to bring me to championship wrestling from Hollywood. And I told him that I was still new, like, I was just trying to make a name for myself, still trying to get, bookings and things of that nature. And he told me that he had an idea, and then, now I'm like the face of the United Wrestling Network. So I mean, it's crazy. Right. It's been like 5 years since then, and yeah, here's Danny Limelight now in a hotel somewhere in Texas.
Go ahead, Matt.
So I think one of the things I noticed is like your involvement in New Japan Strong, with that. Yeah. And, you've wrestled quite a number of the New Lions. Like how much of like the New Lions program, like have you experienced? Like have you met Katsuyori Shibata, and
Yeah. Shibata's awesome, man. I did the New Japan tryout and he was there. And then I've gone to the dojo a few times to train and he's been there a couple of times. And then even when we go to go wrestle, like he's been there a few times, just coaching and giving feedback and stuff like that. Dude's a legend, obviously. And with the New Japan, like that's all thanks to, Rocky Romero, even though I just turned on him, but
I know, I saw that.
Yeah, even though I just turned on him, he was the one that originally like brought me to the tryout, and I met him through David Marquez, at Championship Wrestling for Hollywood. And so he brought me to the tryout, and then, and now I'm I made my debut at Lions Break Collision. I wrestled TJ Perkins, and then, I got into this whole little thing with Rocky, and I had basically, with Rocky, it's not personal, it's just business, like he would have turned on me. He's turned on everybody that he's ever, partnered with. So I wasn't gonna be another sucker, you know what I'm saying? So
there you go. Now
I'm Team Filthy, and I'm honored to be, part of the New Japan locker room. I'm to be somebody who's there basically weekly. I'm on the show, I've done a lot of things with them, and I'm excited for what's to come, especially with Team Filthy.
Is it a lot stiffer there compared to championship wrestling in Hollywood? Like,
wait. Like, oh, okay, I get what you're saying. Well, yeah, I think that the talent level, I think both places have different kind of talent, and obviously with New Japan, it's, we got guys from the Bullet Club, you got guys, Tom Lawler, JR Kratos, you got Jeff Cobb there, you got, some heavy hitters, and I think that, I'm a new piranha in the Sharks, waters, if that's a good way to look at it. Whereas at Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, I consider myself one of the Sharks now. Like it's, I'm swimming in different territories now. I'm trying to make a real name for myself at New Japan, where in Hollywood I've done it for 5 years now. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that that's the difference. I think it's a good difference, and I'm a firm believer that steel sharpens steel. And I think that I'm not necessarily saying the talent at Hollywood isn't good, because there's amazing talent. A lot of people come to that place. Yeah. A lot of people come to the Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. A lot of people, David Marquez, scopes out and sends to, and he's somebody that I give all the credit to for me. I mean, he took me, boom, and now here I am wrestling, on New Japan, AEW, things of that nature, AAA, Impact. So yeah, I think it's different styles for sure, and I think that the hard hitting that we do at New Japan is very different than Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, and it's cool. It works for both. Both places are very different. So
I gotta say, you probably agree with me on this notion that I gotta say, ever since All In, we're in the wrestling renaissance. This is 100%.
The wrestling world is crazy right now, man. Everything that's happening, all the things that you're seeing, like you've seen guys like for example, Chris Bay from Impact making his New Japan debut at the Super J Cup. You got guys hopping back and forth from MLW like Tom Lawler. You got, so much wrestling happening. AEWs with the stuff with the NWA, like the women's championship, like things like that is amazing to me. At least it's good for wrestling. It means more work and more opportunities for cool dream matches and things like that.
Absolutely, I agree. I agree with that 100%. Especially like now that AEW is exposing a lot of great talent that needed to be exposed, like yourself, especially when you made your debut on AEW Dart. So how was the atmosphere, backstage, like with AEW? Like, what was your feelings, or how was it just overall? Like, was it overwhelming to you, or how exactly was specifically?
Nah, it wasn't overwhelming because I treat it the same like I would treat New Japan. They're both huge companies. I like to maintain professionalism, but it's kind of cool being over at AEW. A lot of those guys I know. I'm like the Lucha Brothers, those are my homies. Like I've known Ray and Penta for about 4 years now from, wrestling in TJ and things like that. And all over the independents in LA, Scorpio Sky, he's been like a mentor to me for a while. Peter Avalon, Jurassic Express. I know all those people. Sammy Guevara I've wrestled, so it's kind of cool being there, seeing my boys again and being able to showcase my talent at another level, I think that it's kind of cool that, the New Japan Strong shows appeal more to the Japanese and, internationally and stuff like that. And I think and now it's just not really, the New Japan Strong, it's kind of like the American shows. So it's kind of getting more and more views and things like that. And then we got AEW Dart, and AEW itself is like a big, it's like the rival company to the WWE, and it's huge in the States and things like that. So a lot more eyes seeing me there. And I think I had some pretty good matches with them already, and there's more coming. So, I'm excited to see, what comes from it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward, man. So far your career has, had a rocky start, how you said, and then look at it right now. Since the last year and this year as well, before the pandemic, you had phenomenal matches, especially with Sammy and other matches you had as well, and for the championship, wrestling Hollywood.
Right. And now we got the Primetime Live going. We got the United Wrestling Network, So
yes.
Basically on TV 4 times a week with 4 different companies.
Right? I love it, man. I love it. I love the
I'm still a free agent.
Still a free agent. So, I've heard it. I've seen the other interviews probably before. They ask you where we'd like to go. For me, honestly, my opinion, any promotion you land to, you're going to do greatness. You'll knock it out the fucking park, and you're going to steal the show, man, because – believe me, just your athletic, your acrobatics, just your style of wrestling intrigues a lot of people. Like, whoa, and especially myself. That's why I'm a big fan of your work.
Thank you so much.
And I cannot wait. So up here in SoCal, SoCal Uncensored. You might be the SoCal of the year. For
honestly, this is not a shot at Ray Rosas, but if you look at everything that I've done, I think I've done more this year than Ray Rosas. So in my opinion, there's only one person who should be the SoCal Wrestler of the Year, and it should be me. Oh. But I don't play politics, so we'll see how that turns out.
Oh yeah,
we got a promo here, Ivan.
Look, but I love Ray. Ray's a great dude. He's currently the Hollywood Heritage Champ and stuff like that. So I get that, but he's not wrestling as much as me. He's not doing as much as I am. So we'll see. If he wins though, hey, if I'm gonna lose, I'd rather lose to Ray than to anybody else. So
that a match that I hear, huh? Are you calling him out now for that heritage title?
Look, man. He will look. If you look at my record at Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, I have a lot more wins than losses, and I've never had a shot at the Hollywood Heritage Championship. And I've been there 5 years, so
I agree.
I don't know.
I don't know. It might be time. It might be time.
It might be.
Yeah, it might be that time. It might be that time for you to get that title shot. Why not? Shit, you
why not?
I want to see that match. That's actually one of the dream matches I want to see. I actually want to see you and Ray Rosas. And Ray's a buddy of mine, a good friend of mine. Because I work at a bar, and that's why I met him. And yeah. And I know him and Peter for quite a while, for like about almost 2 years. So, yes, definitely, man. You deserve that title shot, and yes, he should. SoCal of the Year, that's a tough one. I think. When you calling it, woo, man, you're putting me on the spot here.
Yeah, hey, let's just do about the numbers. If you want, let's just do about the numbers. Where has he wrestled this year? Where have I wrestled?
That's true.
How many matches has he had? How many matches have I had? Who have I wrestled? Who has he wrestled? If we want to do it like that, Hey, whatever. May the best man win.
Juicy promo. Now I gotta ask now. Now we're talking about up and comers, next big names. You know, like the eyes are always on like the young Lions class, and since you've wrestled a lot of them, you know, who would you say? Who would you say like out of the young Lions is you think will be the next like big one out of them all? You know, because I mean, we saw Clark Connors. You're going with Clark.
100%.
Like,
and I'm only saying that because Carl Fredericks has already kind of broke through. You know, Carl Fredericks kind of already has his gear. Like he's allowed to be himself now. Yeah. Clark Connors, 100%. He beat me at the Lions Break Crown Finals.
Yep.
You know, he's beaten me twice now. You know, I got one win on him, but Clark Connors has all the tools, I think, and I think that he has the aggression, he has the look, he has the skill set. He's my favorite opponent right now.
Could he eclipse Jay White? Maybe.
Jay White's a whole other beast, man.
That's a whole different story.
He's on my list. I want to wrestle Jay White.
I want to see you
hopefully 2021 I'll get to wrestle Jay White.
I hope you do. Even I want to see you in Will Ospreay. I think that's gonna.
That would be fire too. That would be fire too.
I feel like you and Will Ospreay will steal the show.
Me and Will Ospreay are in a movie together right now. We're in Once Upon a Time in Great Britain. If you go on IMDb, you can check it out.
I want to see that.
It's in pre-production right now. But me and Will Ospreay's in the film. A few other great people, talented people are in there as well. Once Upon a Time in Great Britain.
Speaking of acting, so how did the acting come all about? So how did you get into the film industry about acting? How did that come about?
That was because stunts, and so I had got contacted by Marvel for an audition for their stunt show, and you know I had met my ex there at the time. We started dating after the audition, and she introduced me to the world of stunts, which was easy transition because wrestling is basically the same shit kind of. And then stunts bled over into acting because they wanted action actors, people that could do their own stunts and give lines as well and stuff like that. And since I'm very confident with a microphone, I'm very confident in front of a camera, it was easy for me to start learning that. And then I went to school for acting and took a couple classes and stuff like that. So that all kind of just meshed together in the entertainment world, wrestling, stunts, and acting. And now I'm doing it, and my daughter's doing it, and we're just having a blast, man.
I'm loving it, man. That's awesome, man. That's really awesome. Matt's an actor himself. I mean, go ahead, Matt.
I did background acting for a little bit, and you know, I haven't been as deep into it. Are you a SAG member now?
I'm SAG eligible, but I just haven't paid the because everything going on, there's not much work happening, so I didn't want to pay the fees.
Because I know there's FICOR too. FICOR is like,
I don't want to do FICOR though. Nothing against FICOR. I want to be SAG. And I'm just waiting for things to kind of maybe go back to normal where there's a lot more consistent work.
Yeah.
Because then you gotta pay you gotta pay so many fees when you're SAG, and if there's not work happening and I'm not getting as many auditions and things like that, I just don't.
Yeah, you always have to weigh like all the benefits. I remember like when people first go for it, it's like, do I want to pay off my car or do I want to join SAG?
Exactly, so it's one of those things. If now, like, let's say I book a big job, then obviously I just do it, and because that's gonna pay itself, really. But we'll see. We'll see with the way the world is right now and COVID and everything like that. So just trying to be safe and trying to stay healthy and maintain consistent workflow. So
you know about Taft-Hartley, like Taft.
Yeah, that's kind of how. So I didn't get Taft-Hartley in, but because of that kind of like whole rule is how I kind of became SAG eligible, because I only had one SAG voucher, and then John Hennigan, or everybody knows him as John Morrison, I got booked on his movie. Like he put me on his movie and stuff like that. I did all the stunts in his movie, and I was a principal actor in the film. And so it kind of just the film's called Speed of Time. It's a fun short film that's doing very well in film festivals. Speed of Time, and I played Blaylock, the leader of the Time Borgs, and I do all the stunts for most of the Time Borgs. So I kind of, because of the Taft-Hartley rule, I kind of was like, okay, I'm eligible now. So
Taft-Hartley is where you just like they just make you like SAG immediately. It's like it's like the fast pass to SAG.
Yeah,
okay.
Same concept with me. I just haven't paid the fees. Yeah. It's like $3,000 or something like that for me to be SAG right now.
It's I forgot if it's yearly, but I think that's like the first payment, unless you're paying it off in small portions and stuff like that. You go for it, Ivan.
All right, yeah. Well, actually, my other question that I'm curious too: how did the tag team Bodega came about? How did you and Papi Esco came along together? How did you form that team? How did it begin?
Hey, shout out to Papo Esco, the King Fat Boy. That was another one of David Marquez's brilliant ideas. You know, when I was kind of like on a singles run, then I injured my shoulder, came back from injury hella early, like 5 months early almost. And then I came back to Hollywood and I was doing the singles comeback. And then the COVID happened, so Hollywood stopped the tapings. And it was pretty much doing reruns for a while. And when they came back, you know, I showed up to the locker room and I saw Papo Esco. I had never met him before. And I kind of saw him and I kind of knew that they were going to put us together. I was like, okay, this is going to be a thing now. And sure enough, like, you know, Marquez was like, this is what we want. We want the Bodega. Well, they didn't even come up with the name the Bodega, though. They said, we want you guys, yada, yada. And the Bodega, you know, Papo Esco, he was built from the Bodega, like from the Bodega, Papo Esco. And he called himself the Bodega Bully. And then for me, I was like, the Bodega, that's like the grocery stores where I'm from. Like, you know, you can get everything there, you know, like, you know, that's where it's popping at in the hood. And so, you know, we kind of just came up with the name the Bodega together. And then Papo Esco was like, yeah, we can get anything you need, including a beat down. And we just started running with it. And you know, I'm very grateful for the platform that we have. And I'm thankful that we're able to just do our own thing and not have to worry about, you know, oh, we need to act like this and we need to do this. Like they kind of just let us be us. And, you know, we winning ugly right now and we're having a good time with it. And I'm loving it, man. Papo's great. He's somebody who's, you know, he's a gem that hasn't been, you know, really found yet. And I'm excited to see, you know, what happens for him going forward with this tag team.
Oh, yeah. Me too. I'm looking forward to it, man. You guys are – bro, man, you and him, you guys kill it, bro. Like, man, I love it. I love that faction. I love the charisma you guys have together, how you guys – knocking with the promos, everything. I love.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, man. It's a real good chemistry. And it's hard to find chemistry like that. So I'm grateful that we're able to mesh very well. And I'm also thankful that the fans are liking it. You know, everybody's really feeling it. And I think that's very important that people are vibing with it. And it's, you know, yeah, it's dope, man. I'm happy for it, you know. And we got our eyes set on the tag team championships. Oh. So we will see.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'll make this claim just straight out since we had David Marquez on the show is that I guess he's on his way to becoming like one of the best modern bookers of our current time period because of like what he has to like the situation he's in and what he has to work with, you know.
Right. Well, look what he's doing at Primetime Live. He's doing amazing things over there.
Yeah, he has. And ever since he began it and started it, he's been every Primetime Live has been phenomenal. It's fucking awesome fucking work. Awesome. You know, just seeing you guys, it's just – I even told him, like, thank you for bringing pro wrestling back to SoCal because, you know, I've been going to a lot of the independent scenes in SoCal for, you know, years. So I know that you get asked the question about going to WWE. Is that still your goal in a way? Like, how do you feel – like, would you like to go to NXT or, you know, the main roster? I know, you know, you get asked that, but I'm pretty sure you watch the product nowadays. I mean, probably currently now. Like, is that still your, like, initiative going away or wherever the opportunity opens the doors, then you'll decide to go and do that promotion?
Well, I'm definitely somebody that keeps all opportunities open. I don't, you know, close any doors. I don't put my eggs all in one basket. Like I said, I'm a free agent. If one opportunity knocks, if a door opens for me, then I'm going to go check it out, you know, see if it's for me. Wherever I sign to, I want to make sure that I can be an asset and add value to that company as well as it's a place where I'm going to do good at, you know, where I feel like I can get along with people and really work hard and get an opportunity to showcase who I am. So I'm going to make the best decision for me, the best decision for my daughter, and wherever that may be, you know, I'm excited to see what happens.
I think one of the main differences is that nowadays, like for everything outside of WWE, it just depends on the contract because you could be exclusive. I mean, you could have a contract with AEW or with New Japan and still be able to do all the independent work and films and all that good stuff, you know, and still have the same kind of freedom that you currently have right now. So it just really depends on like the details in the contract pretty much, you know.
I call it the TJ Perkins The TJ Perkins contract. That's the contract I want.
Oh yeah, man. TJ, man, another SoCal native, man. Love him. Great, phenomenal worker. I know he's like one of your favorites too. You guys, you and him put a hell of a match. I love it.
Thank you.
Now, and I'm probably putting you on the spot here. Any funny stories?
There's always something funny happening. I got a funny story. No, I can't tell that one.
Censored.
Yeah. You know, this is some. You know, this is a bunch of funny stuff. I can say, you know, Andy Brown beat me and Clark Connors in a basketball game, you know, not too long ago, and that was unexpected because Andy Brown is definitely not a basketball player, and somehow he beat us.
Literally dunking on you. Literally.
No, he wasn't. He definitely did not dunk on me and stuff like that. But it was just we were talking shit the whole time, and we were playing like horse.
He got lucky when on the free throw line. He got a solid 3-pointer from midcourt.
They're playing horse.
And that's what's crazy is that he shot the ball from like we had like made the rule. The last shot has to be like fucking deep as fuck, you know? And he was like, all my shots were like hitting the front of the rim or the back of the rim, or like they were right there. All of his shots were like missing the rim, missing the backboard. And it's like out of nowhere, one of them just boom, went right in. And I was like, what the fuck? Like how? Like how?
I did like 2 years of Little League basketball, so like I could easily imagine that, you know. Like layups are my main thing though. Shooting, I'm okay. Dunking, never.
Never.
Like unless you're Shaq. I don't know. Like, you know what? This brought a question out of nowhere. You want to wrestle Shaq?
I don't want to wrestle Shaq.
I mean, we were just talking about that earlier today.
I'll tell you who I do want to wrestle though.
All right.
Leo Rush, but he keeps fucking ducking me.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Here we go.
That's right.
He's wrestling Adrian Quest Tuesday.
Yes. Yep. He's talking. I know. It's been all over. It's been all over social media platforms challenging Leo Rush, but no answer from Mr. Rush. Leo.
And then he tries to play. Then he tries to play fucking. Oh, I'm too good. I'm too this, but he has me on his fucking list. It's like, bro, make your mind up. If you don't want to fight me because you don't want to take an L, just say that.
There you go. There you go. Wow.
I tell you who else I want to wrestle. Ray Phoenix.
Oh, snap.
That's my dream match.
Wow. Okay, that's your dream match.
It happened a lot sooner than you think.
It could. It could.
You never know. The possibilities are unknown. You never know. Exactly.
I actually got drumsticks right here. Just hold on.
There you go. There you fucking
But I think I really like that you're wearing the AEW sweater. Like right now, you're representing. You know,
always.
That's like I'll just straight up admit that I'm AEW biased. You know, because it's really what brought me back. You know.
Right.
You know, it's really what brought me back into it. I think, you know, another question just to ask you just out of nowhere would be like, you know, what do you think of Kenny Omega in general? Because like he's the person who brought me back into it.
Love Kenny. Matter of fact, Kenny's part of the Warzone squad. Me, Kenny, JT Dunn, and Sammy Callahan. That's the Warzone squad. Yeah. So Kenny's great. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world, if not the current best wrestler in the world. And yeah, he's a great dude, man. I like him a lot, and he's pretty good at Warzone too. Like he's pretty good. You know, we can count on him for some kills and some revives. You know.
Oh man, oh yeah. Well, he's a gamer. He's like a diehard gamer. So I mean.
Yep.
That's the person put in charge of the video game. I gotta say.
Right. Let me ask you this. Just want to get your thoughts about this. We did see, this last week about, Tia Trinidad with all this situation, her getting fired because of her not taking down her Twitch and all that.
Who?
Selena Vega.
Oh, Zelina.
Yeah. Her, getting fired because of that. Do you feel that there should be unionizations between you guys yourself as independent contractors? Should there be a unionization in professional wrestling?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Mwah.
Will it ever happen? I don't know. I think that's above my pay grade.
We got our fingers crossed for you. So.
Yeah, but and I think it's kind of brave of her to stand up for what she believes in, because a lot of people would have went the other way with it for job security. So she's brave.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it should be a unionization, for you guys as independent contractors. I mean, you guys pay your dues. Shit, you guys pay your dues. You're performing for the fans. I mean, you're performing for for us. So I mean, why the hell not? You guys deserve that. So I'm hoping that you guys get that. You guys get the unionization, and hopefully it does. You never know. But it will take time, especially right now with this modern day wrestling. Right now, how it's growing, internationally, not only just within the states, nationwide, but it's growing. So we might see that maybe within the next year. You never know.
Maybe.
I'll go for just one kind of wacky question, just because I'm sitting right in front of the logo. Would you be down to do some comedy wrestling with?
I am actually a former DDT Pro Heavy Metalweight 24/7 champion.
Woo! Sharing that history with Dean Malenko and many others.
Many others. I held it for a total of 47 seconds before Christopher Daniels pinned me.
Oh.
You held that title the same time as you share that history with this napkin dispenser in Japan and this chair, this one dude, this baby, and the Walk of Fame star Vince McMahon, and the belt itself, which won itself. So
yeah, so that was that's funny. I've held that, but to answer your question, comedy wrestling is not my thing. There's a place for it, and everybody that does it, they're great at it. It's just not my thing.
There you go.
Yeah, it's what you specialize in. Strong style, British. All the different styles.
There's a different style for everybody. Like people ask me, you want to wrestle like Hood Slam? Nothing against Hood Slam, just not where I want to wrestle.
Yeah, and I respect that.
Matter of fact, I'm not taking really any independent bookings, to be honest. I've been telling a lot of promoters no, because I'm on TV. I'm doing major things. I'm on TV often with different companies, and I'm not trying to be braggadocious or sound cocky. I'm just trying to hold myself to a certain standard now, and I don't want to drive to some place in the middle of nowhere and the promoter doesn't want to pay me my worth, and I'm past that, and I know what I want. I know where my career is headed, and I know what I have to do to get there, and I don't want to take any steps backwards.
No undercutting and don't spread yourself thin, basically.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Plus, I want when people, here's another thing. I want people to go buy Primetime Live to see Danny Limelight wrestle. I want people to subscribe to New Japan World to see me wrestle. I want people to turn on TNT to see me wrestle. I want people to turn on, Champs Wrestling Hollywood to see me wrestle. I don't want to just be everywhere, for everybody.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it. You heard it from the man himself. Make sure you purchase Fight TV, Primetime TV. You have to. It's a must. And that is a must. Now, before we let you go, Mr. Limelight, do you have a message for our viewers? Any message you would like to shout out? And also they can find you as well on your social media.
Yeah. Just first of all, thank you guys for having me on the show, and to the listeners, thank you for listening. My message to anybody is, if there's a certain dream you want to chase, something that you want to do, don't let anyone come in between you and your dreams. I believe that you can get to where you want to be just by hard work. I've never been political. I've never been one of the boys. I don't go out for drinks with anybody. I don't hang out with anybody, play video games with anybody other than the four that I mentioned. I I believe that if you stay authentic, true to who you are, you keep it real, and you don't try to take any shortcuts, that eventually your hard work's gonna pay off. I somehow turned the worst year in the history of all years into my year, you know, and that was done by hard work and dedication. And I think that if you have a goal in mind and you take the necessary steps, eventually it's gonna happen for you. And I feel like if I can do it, then anybody can. You know, I'm not no better than the next person. I just believe that I'm not gonna settle for anything less than what I want from life. So if you guys, you know, work hard towards something, I guarantee you that it'll happen. As long as you're doing it the right way and you're staying genuine and true to who you are, you're not trying to be someone that you're not. I'm not hard to find. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Danny Limelight. And go check out my Pro Wrestling Tees store at prowrestlingtees.com/Danny Limelight. I got some pretty cool shirts. You know, they match all the new Jordans, all the new Nikes and things like that. So go check it out. I appreciate the love and support, guys. Thanks for having me. Let's do this again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for joining us. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you subscribe to everything else to Fight TV. Watch them on AEW as well. Watch them on New Japan Strong Style. Make sure you watch them there as well. And
you're going to see me on AEW Dart real soon.
There you go. You heard it here first.
Got the AEW sweater representing.
And my AEW face mask.
There you go.
Stay safe. Mask up. Mask up.
Mask up, everybody.
That's right. Mask up, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you, Mr. Limelight, and we'll see you guys on the next